Hi, this is a continuation of topic 6. So this is topic 6 part 2, and we just have a couple more examples to go through. The next example is pretty standard, similar to the ones that we just did. The only difference is that the box isn't set up for us, so we have to do that ourselves. So the first thing we do is check for a GCF, and these three terms do not have a GCF. So we're going to use the method that we learned in topic 6, where we do this little hat method, and we do 2 times -3, and we get -6. And that tells us this little puzzle that we have to figure out. So the puzzle we have to figure out is what number times what number equals -6, and what number plus what number equals whatever this middle term is. And our middle term has a coefficient of 1, so +1, since there is no number there. All right, so I'm going to come back to this in a second. First, I'm going to set up the box. And inside the box, the first term, 2x squared, goes here. The last term, -3, goes here. And this section over here, this little puzzle I have to figure out, tells us what numbers go here and here. So now let's go back to this. I need two numbers that multiply to get -6. So one has to be positive, one has to be negative. When you add those numbers, they end up being +1. And those two numbers are going to be 3 times -2. That gives you -6. 3 plus -2, you get +1. So those two numbers go here, 3 and -2. And they both get an x. Alright, so now we work backwards to fill out the outside of the box. That's where our answers are. So the outside of the box, we do this section first, and I know I need a 2. First of all, I know I need an x and an x. I also know that one of these numbers has to be a 2, and if I think ahead, if I were to put the 2 here, it would be very hard to multiply to get 3. So I'm going to put the 2 up here, and that way I can easily multiply over here with a 3. X times 3 is 3x. And I can multiply down here with a -1, because 2 times -1 gives me -2. Alright, so that leaves us with our answer. These outside numbers are our answer. We write them in parentheses. 2x, I'll do +3 because it's a +3, and x -1. And that's our final answer. Alright, next example, example 6. And example 6 looks a little bit different, and I have it written here for you to notice what's different about it. There is no middle term. So there's a first term, x squared. There's a last term that does not have a variable, but if I were to rewrite this, I could do this, x squared plus 0x, there's no middle term, and then it goes right to -49. So let's set up the box first. This is key. First term goes here, x squared. Last term goes here, -49. Now I have set up over here the puzzle that we have to figure out, right? I need two numbers that multiply to get -49, but when you add them, you get the middle term of 0. And the key here is that if you add something to get 0, it must be the same exact number, but an opposite symbol. So that means that 49, I have to be able to multiply the same number to get 49, and I do, 7 and 7. So I'll make one of these negative, -7 and +7. Those two numbers go here, -7x, +7x, and then I fill out the outside of the box. X and x is very easy, -7 and +7. And then the outside terms are my answer. So my answer is x -7, x +7. It obviously doesn't matter what order you write these two sets of parentheses in. It doesn't matter if you put this x +7 first or that x -7 first. Alright, so this was an exception, right? We had a strange one to start with no middle term, and we ended up getting a unique looking factorization, right? We have a same number, positive and negative. So let's look at this next example where, again, we have no middle term. I'm going to write that no middle term again. So, when we set up the box, we put 4x squared, we put a -25, and then when I do my little number puzzle over here, I'm going to do what times what equals, and I get that by doing the hat. 4 times -25 is -100. Then I have to do what plus what, and remember there's no middle term, so it has to add up to 0. So again, I need two numbers that are the same exact number, but one's negative and one's positive. And they also have to multiply to get 100. And so I can do that with 10 and 10. Just make one of them negative. Negative 10, positive 10, add up to 0. So those go in the parentheses, negative 10, positive 10. And then to fill out the outside, I've been putting like whatever number is here out, so I would put like a 4 and an x, but that doesn't work in this case because 4 times, I can't get a number here that would multiply to get 10. So I'm going to have to use something different, and I can do to get 4, I'm going to do 2 and 2. That way I can do 2 times 5, actually negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And then down here I would do 2 times positive 5 to get positive 10. So my answer is 2x, I'll do the positive 5 first, and then 2x negative 5. My answer comes from here and here. Alright, you guys should practice factoring on your homework. Good luck.